What's up everyone, Mike here from The Art of Guitar, here with another drum lesson. One of my drum idols passed away a couple weeks ago. Vinnie Paul was one of the top drummers as far as influential drummers in my life. And it was tough to hear about his passing. After hearing about Dimebag's passing back in the day, it was pretty traumatic. And then, now Vinnie Paul's gone, but he was one of the most powerful drummers. He had such a cool array of techniques. And this video is more about the techniques that I kind of took from his playing, and I made some of them more of my own style, but the core of it is from him and his influences. So I don't play everything that he does exactly like he does. There's only one Vinnie Paul, of course, but I want to show you how you could use somebody else's techniques to sort of create your own style around, and then also try to honor what he was able to contribute. So let's start off, lots of double bass going on. So I actually decided to start going with the sock thing when I do double bass, because I do this heel toe method for a lot of his techniques. And sometimes it's harder to do with shoes because it's hard to feel the bounce of the pedal. So I just go with my crazy old black socks here, okay? So that's why that's the way it is. Okay, so we're going to start off with kind of a tricky kick drum pattern that you can hear in Primal Concrete Sledge. So if I were to play it slower, it would go like this. The tricky part for me is it ends on the left foot, and I'm a right-handed player, so it feels a little bit awkward. But you'll find that a lot of Vinnie Paul's techniques, he's left foot heavy, even though he was right-footed as well. Okay, so slow it would be this. So that's the concept. Let's add the snare. So once you get that down with a metronome, go ahead and slowly speed it up until you finally really have it click. Now remember, don't let your feet tense up. That's my biggest mistake when I first started doing double bass in the style of Vinnie Paul. And it's really important to stay real loose, okay? Sometimes you're doing double bass just real straight, but then you want to throw it off just a little bit. He does a great job of throwing a shuffle kick in there just by offsetting it just a little bit. So instead of da 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 da, you get a da 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 da. Think of it more in triplets, and it can help you out. So here's what I like to do real slow. Then as you bring that up in speed, you gotta maintain that feel while going pretty fast for Psycho Holiday. It's easy to let it go straight. That's what I used to do a lot. I used to go. But if that happens, you gotta offset it again. And then keep it there. It's fun to exchange the hands and the feet when you do fills. And a great way to practice this is to do 2 on the hands, 2 on the feet. Go around the toms if you want to. I'll just do it on the snare today. And then you can go 4 on the hands, 2 on the feet. And you get some really cool results from it. So real slow you could go. It's hard to play with stuff in your pockets. Sorry. Okay, so you start to speed that up so you get a decent flow. Then you can change it to 4s every once in a while to make it interesting. And you can work your way around the toms. Now a great thing to do with that as well is to take that concept, and I've seen him do this as well, hit the snare and the floor tom while maintaining that sort of concept with the feet. So check this out now. So that's one of my favorite things to do just when I'm warming up or when I want to do a crazy fill. Doing double bass is one thing, but then having the independence to be able to change up your right hand is actually a lot of fun. So this is something, by the way, he has a really heavy sounding ride. Mine's kind of light, so I'm going to have to hit the bell quite a bit to get his effect. But check it out, if you just get some double bass going, throw off the right hand, you get some cool sounds. So he was a real master of hitting those up accents on the ride. We're going to get into a lot more of that in the future. Here's a concept you could do on the same kind of level is you could play the ride but hit the China on the upbeats. You could either do it in combination with the ride, or you could just do the China on its own as well. Or That's if you just want to hit the china. It feels a little more off balance, but it's a good thing to practice. Okay, we got the really cool part in domination. I call this a technique because it's such a simple beat, but a studio technique you can add with some cool reverbs is to make it sound like it's a breathing beat. So I'm sure you guys all know this part, but it goes like this. Such a cool sound. Alright, we're going to do two techniques here. The first one's just going to be tom swipes like we did for the John Bonham, the Lars Ulrich videos. So you get this, or the snare. I love ending with a kick because it gives it a real exclamation at the end. So we were talking about domination. Well, just the very beginning of that, tom sweep with a kick at the end, okay? Adding that to fills is very easy too once you get it down, but just really get a good grouping going on that. Adding the tom swipes to double bass is fun too. You'll hear this in a couple songs. So you get this going on. So some swiping action going on in the context of double kick drum. Playing a slow beat and then throwing a fill in, but doing it in more of a swing type feel is a very interesting thing that he does. So here's an example. Alright, this is fun. My drummer used to do this all the time before a song just to kind of pay homage to Pantera. But it's where you choke a cymbal, and then you do double bass. So slow it would be. Now I usually don't have my cymbals this far away and only on this side, but I wanted to make some room here for the camera. So usually I wouldn't be reaching way like that, I'd just be right here doing it. But anyways, start to speed that up. Keep it real tight. Remember to accent with that right foot. That way you really get locked in. Otherwise it's kind of sloppy, okay? So doing 3 before a crash is ideal. But 2 is fine too. And then you could slow down the 2 and get some really cool effects. Following some riffs, it's great to go. So it's just a cool way to put some kicks in between your crashes. Alright, this was really difficult at first. I had to practice a lot. We're doing this essentially every other time you're hitting the ride cymbal, you're hitting a different foot. So it feels kind of bizarre, but start slow. It's a great way to keep yourself in sync though, is every time you hit something, you really accent the foot with it. So at first I'm going really slow. Trying to really nail those at the same time. Eventually you got to go a lot faster. Alright, so I love this beat, everybody does. The best part of it is he leaves space. Oops. The best part of it is that he leaves space for the snare. Really hits the pocket when it happens. Wouldn't be the same if there were a lot of other kick drums in there. I think it would take away from the groove, so leaving space for that snare hit is essential. Who knew a ride cymbal could be this heavy, but in a new level, just playing it straight as you're playing a really slow open beat can sound very, very brutal in a good way. This is a fun technique when you're in the middle of 2 parts to glue them together with some hit. And he does a splash on one part and then a bell on another part. So it's just something kind of quirky to throw in, but it's cool because some parts are so heavy, and then to connect them together to put a little bell in there is kind of fun. So here's an example. Alright, if you want to do a really fast beat that's not too difficult, go ahead and try this one. So we're going to have 1 kick, both hands, 2 kicks, both hands. So you get this sort of feel. Alright, speeding it up. Speeding it up even more. Great way to play a fast beat without too much effort. You just got to make sure your feet know what they're doing so you can go into autopilot. This is one of my favorite beats. The first time I played it, it was for Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. But I heard this in a Pantera song as well. Had to steal it for this technique video. Alright, so if you ever have a shuffle feel going, you want to throw that in. It can make it feel really interesting all of a sudden. So it's basically this slow. It's great because your foot just keeps going on that upbeat. You have to be able to play a really fast ride if you're going to play some other songs. And in this particular song, you have to go into crazy mode. Check it out. It's just a pretty simple beat behind it, but the right hand has to go crazy. Not quite up to speed, but I'm getting there. You just have to learn how to really get that stick moving and bouncing. And if you're too stiff when you're doing it, you're going to run out of energy, so you really want to keep it swinging, okay? I love this part in Becoming when he starts going to the ride and the hi-hat, using it back and forth. What a great way to change things up. You could just reach over and do it like this. It looks kind of cool to go open like that and just have a whole different sound. It's better than just being on the hi-hat or just being on the ride. Why not use them both? One thing I love about Pantera is their ability to just use such great musicianship in their music, but not over the top. So in this particular example, they throw the beat off and then they come back, and it really makes it heavy when it comes back. So you guys might recognize this one. See how the beat got thrown off there for a second? So a shorter version. So coming back to the regular beat there is real exciting because it feels like everything's off balance for a second, and then boom, you're back. Okay, I have to admit on this one, Vinnie Paul's got his own paradiddle version of this. I didn't learn it the right way. I was trying to figure it out back before I had YouTube that I could slow it down. So I kind of came up with my own version of it. But the idea is this. You're hitting the ride cymbal and the right foot at the same time. It's something like that. I haven't mastered his exact version. So I took that concept where the right hand and the right foot are in sync, and I sort of made my own version of it, but it's close. You could do sort of a blast beat going back to that idea of going 1 and then 2 with the kick drum while just doing a simple hand pattern. But if you do 2 the whole time, it's sort of a different vibe. Sounds pretty crazy. All it really is this though. Hands, right, left. Hands, right, left. Just keep speeding that up. So you're flowing. Okay everyone, sorry for the continuity error. You'll notice I'm wearing different clothes and I haven't shaved. I've been practicing this kick drum pattern like crazy, but had to come back for it. I put out the first draft of the video and I thought everything was great. And then my good friend Loren actually told me that the kick drum pattern's a little different than I thought. And it made sense the more I studied it that, you know, I was talking about Vinnie hitting with his left foot. And when you do this pattern and you use your left foot as the dominant foot on the downbeats, it makes a lot more sense. The way I really got into this pattern to practice it is I started to come up with a way to play it fast without actually doing the technique, because it's really hard to just go right into his pattern. So if you want to do this just to start off, it's kind of a little bit easier path to start off with. You would go like this. Okay, so you can add the hands, but just get the left foot used to that feeling. All right, then if you want to keep it flowing, and actually you can start to follow along to the song, maybe go on YouTube and put it to half speed. now what you need to do is just need to add the right foot. So a good way to ease into this next section is to go like this, to start doing alternating, but throw it in, slowly go. That's a great way to sort of sneak through the back door on how to do this technique. That way you get the feeling going, because if you're a right-handed player like me, it's already going to feel awkward having that much left foot going. Okay, let's try that again. So it's left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And here's another tip. Your hi-hat's always going to be hitting with your foot. Except for the last single one, okay? So do that for a while. And then you have to add the heel-toe technique. So now we're going to add that, okay? So what we do is some of the hits that you do with your right foot that we just did earlier, we're going to actually do 2 hits. So we're going to do a quick heel-toe technique. Heel, bounce, toe, heel-toe, heel-toe. And if you get fast at it, you could throw it in as fast as you would just hitting a single. That's the trick with heel-toe. You get 2 for the price of 1. Kind of like if you do the drop grab technique with a stick. You know, it looks like you're hitting once, but you're getting 2 out of it. That's a cool technique we'll go over someday as well. Okay, so now, really slow, let's start to add those doubles in. So we're going to go like this. I'll just do the feet for a second. All right, so every other one's going to be a double. So the first hit's just your left foot. Then that left foot hits again, followed by a quick double right. And then we have left, right. Then we do that pattern basically again. Left, double right, left, right. And then to end, left, double right, left. One little trick that I figured out to really get your feet feeling the right way is just break it down to the da-da-da-da-da, and just do that a bunch of times. So skip the first left and just go left, right, right, left, right a bunch of times. So if you practice that for a while, it gives your feet the right feeling. Then when you go to your hands, it just sort of flows automatically. Then you just have to line up your left foot with your right hand. So here's what we're going to have at a medium speed now, kind of a slower speed. Okay, let's add the snare in now. It can be a little tricky. Okay, so you notice the snare will hit while you're hitting a kick drum, okay? So it's going to be like that. So your left foot hits, your right hand hits, and your left hand hits. Very odd feeling. I'm so not used to that. Okay, so now the key is from there is just to speed it up. And when you really get going, your left foot just does this cool bouncy like that. Okay, get that solid, do that for 40 hours like me, and then try to eventually just get it faster and faster. And you do hit a point where you're like, okay, I could do this kind of slow and it's okay. What if I speed it up though? What's going to happen? That's when your heel-toe technique really has to kick in. You have to be able to hit that double fast to really fit it in, okay? So we'll go a little faster now. I missed the cymbal. Like I said, all these techniques really challenge me, and I work on them all the time. It has really upped my double bass game in the last couple of weeks. After his passing, I decided to dedicate a lot of my time to just drumming. So thanks to VINNIE Paul for all of his contributions to all our lives. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and learned a few things. All right, guys, we'll catch you soon.